How's that, ladies? Is that better? Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me know now if you have a full screen. That should have worked. Charlene, give me or Jessica, give me a note that you have a full screen. Okay. Okay. So what I'm looking at is a full screen of you guys. Just put in the comments if you have a full screen of me, and then we'll get started. Thanks, Juanita. Do you have a full screen? That's what I'm looking for. Some people only had a half screen of me. So thank you for saying you love me. I love you too. Okay, the comments are a little bit delayed. That's why I'm not getting it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get started because I'm going to trust that you can see me. I'm going to trust that you can see me. Can you? Ooh, this is really interesting. Juanita is saying no, she doesn't see me. Thank you, Bernita. It's just coming through now. So there was a little delay between the computer and the tablet, but I think we're good now. Yippee, yippee, yippee. Bernita, Charlene says yes. Okay, perfect. I am not going to move. I'm going to use my notes right here in front of me and just say welcome, come in. I'm happy that you are here. Tracy, thank you for being here, everybody. So since we're a couple of minutes in, I'm going to still give people some time to come in. But here's what I want to start with. When we remember who we are as Black women, we begin to act like it. So let that sink in. When we really remember who we are, we start acting like we know. That's pretty powerful. I don't know where I first heard that quote, but I'm going to credit Iyanla Vanzant for it because she's the first person I heard to say that. Who are we? We're going to get into that. We're going to get into who are we? This thing we call resilience. So often the word is used when talking about Black women. And by the way, I know we're live on Facebook, but I'm talking to the sisters tonight. I am talking to us. You know, the daughters, the mothers, the grandmothers, the aunties, the nieces, and every girl, child in your influence. That's who we're going to talk with and to this evening for about 30 minutes. As we get started, though, I want you to do me a favor, if you will. Look down on your screen and hit the share button. Let's have a full, private, public conversation about who we are as Black women this evening. We're going to give ourselves permission to talk about us because we spend a lot of time talking about everybody else, how to fix everybody else, how to give everybody else. We spend a lot of time doing that. So we're going to just get started in talking about us. Hi, Tracy and the other Tracy. We're going to spend a little time talking about who we are. And, and thinking during this time, really thinking about everything that we carry as Black women. Everything that we carry, which puts me to right to the point of the last 6 weeks. And if you just think about what you've carried in the last 6 weeks, from your close family members having challenges, maybe even the loss of life, maybe even severely ill, to perhaps not having a job, to perhaps wondering whether or not you could make it to the other side of this because it's so complicated and we don't know. We don't know what's required of us. Just think of what you've carried just in the last 6 weeks. Do you know who you are? Is my question. Do we remember that in our DNA, the imprint in our DNA, there is resiliency? What is that? That was a gift, not something that we even perhaps thought about as girls. When we were born and we came here, I don't think we had a sense that we needed to have resilience, right? This was a gift that was transferred, some would argue, and I think I'm on the side of that, that this gift of resiliency was transferred from generations before us to us. And it was deposited there because I believe our foremothers knew that we would need it for a time like this. And so here we are, gifted with this enormous tool in our toolkit that we have an opportunity to pull out whenever we need it. And I'm not so sure if we all understand the power of who we are. This is not a judgment, because that's not what we're doing this evening. This is a conversation. This is rhetorical questions that we can ask ourselves. Do I really know my power? What is resilience? What is it? One, it's a value. It's a standard. It's a principle that you live by, that is there when we need it. And God knows we need it now, but we've always needed it in this country. If we took a moment and paused to think about all that we go through as Black women, all that we have had to endure, having a principle and a standard and a value gifted to us by our foremothers to anchor us in the time when we need it the most, is such a precious gift. I was thinking this morning as I was making some notes about this, I was thinking that we need to have resilience on default, so that when we get into these difficult situations, whether it's at home, in our communities, and God knows we go through it on the jobs, that on default, automatically, the option that we would choose would be the best possible option for us. Now, I'm not talking about the best clapback, because we know how to do that too. I'm not talking about the best clapback. I'm talking about we would choose the best option that in the long run would benefit us. It would benefit us by keeping us at our highest frequency. We're not always in that state of mind. It's okay, by the way, if y'all shoot me a heart or a thumbs up. Let me know that this is connecting with you. That's how I sort of know I'm on track. Thanks, Juanita. I appreciate hearts and thumbs up and comments and questions you might have. I was thinking, as I said earlier, I was thinking this morning when I was preparing the notes about the women that we read about and we've read about in our history. God knows Black women have been written about in every category of literature there is, right? Some research, inquiry, experiment, some guesstimation about who we are. But I was thinking about those women who had no idea who I would be, who you would be, yet they were standing for us at times when it was most difficult. I think about mothers who were torn away from their children, babies from the mother's breast, and how another mother would step in and offer and give that breast freely to a baby that wasn't even her birth child. But they stood for one another. And there was a comfort level that women had because they knew that their sister would stand for them. I wonder sometimes if we have forgotten who we are. I think about that. And this morning, as I was preparing, I was thinking in this time, in this season, when there is, in some places, some communities, a lack of everything. We are seeing now all of the disparities that are showing up in our communities, and Black women are getting the brunt of that. We see in healthcare, we see it in birthing of our children. A simple birth, what is happening all day, every day, Black women suffer. We don't get the same care. I was thinking of Serena Williams when she had complications in giving birth and said to her doctor, something is not right. And I'm not sure if she was believed. And here is a, very accomplished, world known woman. Can you imagine the young sister down south, perhaps, here in Georgia for sure, who would say something is not right with my body and have folks determine that maybe that's not true? Who are we? What was gifted to us in this transference of resiliency? What came in that package? What does it look like? And who gets it? Who has it? Are we all gifted it? Is the opportunity for all of us to draw down there? The default that I'm talking about is when you have a knowing that you can dig deep within yourself, deeper than you can even imagine, no matter what the situation is, and that you would be okay. The ability to know that you're going to be okay, sit through it, and come out on the other side. How do you get that? If you don't have it, if you've forgotten that you had it, if you haven't practiced it, how do you do that? I have a confession, and my confession is I have not always done that well. I do it much better today than I used to. But there were lessons that I had to repeat many times where things would happen and they would show up like forgiving people for what I thought was hurting my feelings, not being able to recover from a betrayal of a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a family member. When you feel like you've been wronged and from someone who you care about and you trusted, and it feels like your breath is leaving your body because the pain and the hurt is so severe. There were times when I did not always do very well. I forgot who I was. And I wasn't so resilient. And it took me time to get out of that. What about you? Have you ever had? Send me a note. Let me know. Give me a scenario when you feel like you might not have known how to get up from a situation. Last week we talked about grief. And certainly when we go through these moments of losing a loved one, losing a mother, a child, and I can't even tell you what that would look like, what that would feel like. But losing my mother, I certainly knew. And to be able to pull myself up and out of that grief, how do you move forward, get up, and then move forward? Can you remember a time when you've had something like that? Are there women that you look to who perhaps are women that you would consider resilient women? Who would they be? Do you know some? Write their names so I can see it. Write their names down. Women who you know or you feel are resilient women. Write a few names down. So let me tell you a few that I thought of. Maybe Oprah, right? She didn't come from means. She certainly didn't come from the family structure she's in now. She co-created with God who she is right now, right? Cecily Tyson. Oh my God, what an earth angel this woman is. Can you imagine? I believe she's in her 90s. But can you imagine what her eyes have seen? What kind of challenges she had in the industry that she's in? She had to be resilient, right? Suffering hurt. Princess says, hurt in the church. Ooh. Well, we saw some of that the other night when we watched, I don't know how many of you saw the Clark sisters. We saw a lot of pain in there, right? But can you think of a time when you may have been betrayed or just pained by a situation and you didn't think you were going to be able to get up? Like a Maya Angelou, right? Like a Robin Williams, our television anchor who, went through a series of health challenges just recently. Women like Barbara Perkins, lots of health challenges. Got up, pulled myself up, and kept moving. God knows we know Auntie Maxine, all these years in Congress, what she has gone through and what she continues to go through. When you have the President of the United States calling a member of Congress out of her name, this is what we've had to endure and still stay at a frequency that we are okay with, that we can live with. Do you know any others? Tell me some names. Mothers. Charlene says mothers. Certainly. I name my sister for everything. Deborah. She was my first woman outside of my mother that I looked at for. I adored my sister growing up. Someone said Erica said, when I became a mother, at 18. No, when I became a mother and 18, I think at 18. These are women, these are demonstrations of who we are. I'm calling names that we know because they're public names, right? But what about the women in your family? Those aunties, your mother, your cousins, your sisters. When we think about who they are, I certainly hope if you are creating a list of women, and I would offer that's an exercise. Who are the women role models for resiliency in your life? Write those names down. And I certainly would hope that you would add your name to the list, like I added mine. I added my name to the list because I know who I am. I'm sure you know who you are. Even if sometimes we don't act like it, even if sometimes we're not operating at that high frequency level that we intend to operate at. When we are clear about who we are, we stay closer to that space. Meghan Markle, absolutely. That's a whole lot of resiliency there, Chanel. Yes, a whole lot of resiliency. This woman has gone through a whirl of criticism, and so much of it is not based on any kind of truth whatsoever. I mean, right? What do you expect of yourself? What's your legacy? Who's going to put your name on the list and why? Can the young girls in your community, the young girls in your home, can they see just a glimpse of what was given to you? Because the gift was given to you and for you to pass it on. This is what we have to teach. We have to share that. We have to pass that on. We have to deposit that reminder into the lives and the hearts of young women everywhere. And if they happen to have missed it, and if they're no longer so young, it's never too late to sit up tall with a straight spine and say, I know who I am. Thank you, God. I remember now who I am. If for whatever reason you feel like maybe I don't have enough of it, I created a checklist for resiliency. How you get it, how you replenish, because I propose that we all have it, but we may be at a point, and in this time of being still at home, this may be a good time to replenish, to restore our resilience. So the first thing on the checklist is rest, sleep. So important. And let's be truthful, we don't get enough. I'm raised my hand. But I started taking naps now. I'm home. So we can do it. So I started taking these little 45 minutes to an hour and a half naps in the middle of the day. Because I get up really early in the mornings. Do you have an opportunity to take naps? If you do, I encourage you. Rest so your body can replenish itself. Self-awareness is one of the things that's required in order to be at that high level of resiliency. Like, what are the things that trigger me? Knowing what those things are. What gets me ruffled? Because we all get it. We all have those points. When you are aware of it, you can say to yourself, especially if you're in a work environment and there's someone who just really has found the switch, the trigger that can really take you out of the character that you want to be in, out of your best self. When you're at work, if you see that person coming or you have a meeting with that person, before you go in, go have a good conversation with yourself about what you are not going to do and how you are not going to give away your power and how you're not going to be set off by someone. Certainly, you're not going to sit and allow people to disrespect you, but you're not going to be triggered. Self awareness allows you to do that. Exercise is on that checklist. Raise your hand if you need to do better. Raise your hand. Let me see some hearts or something. Raise your hand if you need to do better in the exercise category. My hand is raised. You see that, right? Releasing control. There's a whole, that's on the list. There's a lot that we cannot control. And so let's not even try. Identify those things that you know that are out of your control so that when they come up, you can do what you have to do about it. You know, my formula, pray about everything, pray about it, give it to who should have it. I don't always have to do it. Release the control. Another really big thing that I had to learn how to do, I had to learn how to breathe. Because, you know, there's nothing that we do. God gives us this breath, right? But there's a way that we can enhance our breath by breathing deeply. I had to learn how to do that. I didn't know how to do that until I started taking meditation and spending time with the Iyanla Vanzant, who is the breathe queen. But we have to do that. And you have to take your time and feel the breath and appreciate the breath and honor the breath. All of those things are activities that allow you to fill yourself up. I see you, Sandra. You said, I'm raising my hand. I'm going to do better. Me too. Me too. Here's another big one. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Here's the news flash. There's only one of you. Even if you are a twin, there is something different between you and your twin. You are uniquely you. Do not compare yourself to somebody else. It's only going to frustrate you. The assignment that you came here to do is not their assignment, and their assignment is not your assignment. So don't get frustrated with that. And then be accountable. Here's a big one. Be accountable to yourself. When something goes wrong, don't blame anybody else. That was on the list. Don't blame others. See it. Take whatever it is as a lesson. Look at your responsibility. What part of it you have to own for yourself. Hey, we're building our resiliency muscle. We are putting back into this body temple the precious thing that was transferred from our foremothers to us, so that when we need it, we would have a full dose of it. We are filling ourselves back up with it. You're not blaming anybody else. Take responsibility for it, move on. If it's something you've done, apologize for it and get gone. What do you think? Yes, take responsibility for ourselves. And then the last two. This body, this container that we're in, what a beautiful gift we have. It's our temple. It's our physical temple that we honor. Take care of it. Treasure it. Make sure that it's operating in its highest possibility. You are the keeper of the temple. And it's your responsibility. Every aspect of this temple. Every aspect of the temple is your responsibility. And the more we take care of it, the better we are. The more resilient we can be because we have a whole container. And then the very last thing on this 10-point list is ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. If you need it, if you're not feeling so resilient, I'm not talking happy talk. That's the other people. They do that. I'm talking reality. If you're feeling inside. You know what you're feeling. We may put our little makeup on, comb our hair, because we can dress up pain better than anybody. We can hold it. That's part of the resiliency. That's the negative side of it. How we can dress up pain. What I'm going to say to you is, if you're feeling that internal, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself pain, I'm not sure what to do, I'm at a loss. If you're feeling that, get some help. Help's available. Don't be ashamed, because you are not by yourself. You are not by yourself. Find you a close confidant. Get yourself a coach. I'm a life coach. I've been a coach for 20 years. I have coached elected officials, public figures, girls in the community, because I only coach women. Sorry, guys. I used to, but I don't anymore. I prefer to sit in the company of my sisters. But get yourself a coach, a secret keeper, someone you can think with, a thinking partner. Because I believe everything that you need is already in your box. It came in the box. Sometimes we just need to have a set of ears and a tender heart to listen. Help us through some of the tough times. But I do believe resilience is in our DNA. And when we remember who we are, we begin to act like it. This is a great time for us to pause, take in ourselves, give the gift of you back to you. In the mornings when I wake up, right next to my bed, I have a hand mirror that stands tall. So when I have to pass by that mirror all day, so I have to catch a look at myself. And I talk to myself, hey, what's up? How are you? Good morning. Because if I talk to me first the way that I want to be spoken to, it sets me up for a better day than if I wait until somebody else speaks to me in a way that I don't want to be spoken to. And I don't entertain too much of that, right? I bless them and send them right out of my life. So I hope this was helpful. I know that we've put in the thread for you, my website, by the way. And when on the flyer, when you came into the session, there's a book that I absolutely love. And I've had this book for over 10 years. It was written over 20, I think this is the 27th year, because 2 years ago, I got the 25th anniversary of this book, called Tapping the Power Within. Some of you know it. It's by Miss Iyanla, the one and only Iyanla Van Zandt. But that is probably my favorite. I got a lot of favorite books, but that is probably my favorite book. And I would offer you that today as something that you might want to order. Tapping the Power Within. Because it's only when we go within and we are intentional about bringing our best self forward is when the resiliency of our life shines and we operate on that high frequency that we intend to operate on. Oh, I see my sweet friend, Reverend Lydia. Thanks for being here. And Gwen, I see you. Erica. It's been my joy. It's been my pleasure to spend 30 minutes or so with you. If you have any questions for me afterwards, you can put them in the thread. I'll go back through and I'll look at them. I have a gift. For those of you who are here, are you here for the first time? If you're here for the first time, would you write first time visiting in the comments, and I have a gift for you. It is a mask. Can you see it? And we have a school in Ghana that we've adopted. We have a board member, Dawn Sutherland, who's from California, moved to Ghana 5 years ago. She has a program called the Sunday Morning Girls, and they are amazing, beautiful, precious. They made masks for my organization, and we are gifting them in certain places. So if this is your first time visiting, put first time in the comments, and I will reach out to you and you will get a mask. Also, I'm going to go through the thread, and the most chatty person in the thread, meaning you're the most engaged in the thread, you're going to get a mask. If you received your gift from last week, the book on grief, coaching yourself on grief, let me know. Put it in the thread so I know that we got it to you. I love you on purpose. And I look forward to our time next Monday. I don't know what we're going to talk about next Monday. If you have some thoughts about it, certainly send it to me. I'll be happy to consider it. And just know that I love you. Please share the video. Please share this live stream with some of your friends. Thank you, and God bless you, and have a good night. I love you. Bye-bye.